What you working on?
Fireplace.
How's it going in here?
It's going good. I've got pieces cut over here. So I had a comedy of errors that happened earlier. I lost my pencil.
You got the punchline of the comedy there?
It looked a little bit like that.
Okay.
Do we want to double check that before we cut this down?
No, I trust you.
How big is this?
Why are you terrified by that? We've got some pieces cut. So this is going to be like back and front side, or top and bottom. This is the length of the hearth.
Top and bottom.
Correct. Okay, so this is the length of the hearth, and then it's going to stick out this much. And then that is how it's going to stick out. So this is, we're making a square or rectangle. But as you can see, it's not going to be small. It's finally time to work, y'all. I am finally at a point where I can do a little bit by myself, make a little bit of progress. I am feeling good. So here's what's happening with the hearth. Right now, we're working on building the hearth for the fireplace. We want it to sit up a little bit so that we're gonna build some drawers into it for storage. We also want it to be kind of a place that people can sit if we're if we're ever able to have people over again. So what I'm working on right now, these are the side pieces. We've got 3 of them. We've got one for each side of the hearth and then one as a middle support. And I'm going to be cutting little notches out of each of these corners because we're having kind of like a toe kick situation, just because of the way it's designed. Let me draw it out and I'll show you. This is the front profile. So there will be drawers that cover up pretty much the entire front, and then this part will be inset. And then this is what it will look like from the side with the little toe kick. Anytime I need to figure out the sizing for something like this, I Google it. So I'm making a toe kick. I want it to look kind of like a cabinet toe kick, so I just Googled cabinet toe kick size, and it told me that they're usually somewhere in the neighborhood of 3 inches square, which is what I already had in mind. So that's what I decided to go with. So what I've done is I've drawn this little square here. This is gonna be what I'm cutting off. I'm gonna be using my jigsaw. And what I'm gonna do is clamp down a level here to help me make sure I'm cutting straight. It will be my guide, and I'm gonna clamp it so that this just runs along it to help me cut straight. I'll show you what that looks like. First, you wanna measure how far is it from the outside of this guard to the inside of the blade, because that's where I want to place my level. So I've got 1.5 inches, pretty much exactly this loop. Was a loud truck. These will usually be pretty exact measurements because they expect you to do something like this. So 1.5 inches. So from my line that I've drawn here, I'm going to clamp this 1.5 inches out. Like that. This is what the side profile of our hearth will look like. So this just creates a little bit of dimension and a way for the drawers to easily pull out without dragging on the floor or anything like that, because the drawer front is going to be the whole profile here. So the drawer front will go from here to here. They'll be nice and deep, and you'll just pull them out. All right, so now I've got my 3 three pieces. We've got each side and the middle, and they are notched out and ready. Okay, now that I've got the side pieces done, the next step for me is going to be assembling the top. So I want the top to be a little bit thicker and have a tiny bit of an overhang, so it looks a little bit like a piece of furniture. So we're going to be using the same method here that we used on our built-in desk up in the game room. I will link that post here for you so you can kind of see what we're doing. But essentially what we're doing is we have two pieces of 3/4 inch plywood, 3/4 inch plywood that are the exact same size. We're going to glue them together to make them nice and thick and hefty, and then we're going to use trim to cover up the edges. So that will make kind of like a substantial feeling top. Then we will attach the sides to it. Let's do it. Okay, so now I'm all set up to do some pocket holes. So we've got my side piece here. We're assembling this whole thing with pocket holes. So I'm going to be drilling pocket holes in the bottom for us to attach the bottom support piece, and in the top for us to attach the top support piece. Okay, we got pocket holes drilled in all of my sides. So let me show you how a pocket hole works. So this is what it looks like. It's basically this kind of sideways hole in it that comes out on the other side. So the way that it works is this piece, this long piece here is the bottom support. So when we're drilling it into place, I'll set this here, and then you put screws down in those holes and they go through the hole and into this bottom piece. It creates a really nice and tight joint and looks great. So then from the outside, it will look like this, but I'm gonna be doing some trim around the outside so you won't see the seam at all. So with all that done, our next step is gonna be to take these three middle support pieces, do one on each side and one in the middle. So then we will have the bottom and the side pieces. Then once our top that we've glued together is all dry, we can put it on top. I just attached both sides to the bottom, and then I was looking at it thinking, good Lord, these drawers are gonna be huge if we're only doing 2 drawers. And then I measured and realized that we did not cut the bottom piece down to length. It was cut sideways perfectly, but it was like 95 inches long when it's supposed to be 70 something. So I had to take one side off. We're gonna cut this piece down. We're gonna try again. Okay, so we have installed these pieces on the toe kick. I'll show you that in a second. But what we're doing now is putting glue on. These are the tops of all the middle pieces, the supports. And we've got the actual top over here. And we're gonna flip it and put it on top and then screw it into place using the pocket holes. Okay, friends, it's time to try to build some drawers. I went and I bought drawer slides today. I have built drawers successfully one time before. I think I can do it again. So when you're choosing drawer slides, there are a few things to consider. First of all is your length. For that length, you're going to measure from the front to the back of what you're doing and subtract an inch-ish. Mine is 18, and so they don't easily make 17-inch drawer slides, so we went with 16. The next thing you want to consider is how much they can hold. The ones I got are kind of heavy duty. They can hold 75 pounds. So should be plenty for like toys, which is really all we're putting in here. And then you've got to think about features. So the ones I got are full extension, meaning they can pull all the way out. Some will only go like 3/4 of the way out. And then your final thing is if you want extra features like soft close, which of course I do. Oh, and the most important thing to consider is how they're mounted. So your options with drawer slides are side mount, which means they mount here and here. You'd have two, and they go on the side of the drawer. You have under mount, which go here and here on the bottom, and then you have center mount, which is just one. For me, because of my toe kick, the bottom of my shelf is actually lower than the bottom of the drawer will be. So side mount is my only option. Can we math together? So let me show you what we're working with. So we're putting drawer here, drawer here. The drawer slides themselves take up 1 inch of space. So the width of my drawer from outside of the plywood to outside of the plywood needs to be this space minus 1 inch. For me, that means it's 36 5/8 inches side to side. The depth is going to be the same depth as your drawer slides. And then the height, it honestly just needs to fit in here because my drawer fronts will fit on front. The interior height doesn't matter so much. I'm just doing it about 1.5 inches, 2 inches lower than the drawer front themselves. So what all that means is, let me flip you. So this is my very technical drawing, and I'm just realizing as I'm talking to you about this that this number is not completely accurate because I didn't take into account the width of the wood. But we're just going to start with these pieces. They need to be 16 inches for the depth of the drawer slides by 11 inches for the height of the drawer itself. So I'm going to cut 4 of these using my table saw. I'm going to come back and revisit this number. Our next job is to create a little channel for the bottom of the drawer slides to fit in. So it'll look kind of like that whenever it's all assembled. Okay, Corey took over baby cuddling duty so that I can work. And I'm gonna be real honest. I don't know what I'm doing. I've gotten a drawer assembled. I have drawer slides. It's time to put the two together. And this is the part that stresses me out. So we're gonna walk through this together. The drawer slide's gonna go in the center of this. This is 11 inches, so it's about 5.5 inches, okay? Simple enough. What I need to do first is mark in here where I want my drawer slides to go. Because of this toe kick, I can't just measure from the bottom. So I need the drawer slide to line up with the middle. I added in 1 inch just so the drawer doesn't slide along here when it opens. Following? Okay, so that's 6.5 inches is where I want the center of the drawer slide to be. So now we're gonna try to install it. Okay, we got 1 in. I've got my hair up because I am Violet Baudelaire and cannot think unless my hair is tied back. I've got this one and I want to celebrate, but there's no celebrating that can happen until the other one is in and we know that it's actually all straight and level and lovely. A lot of people sell drawer slide jigs that you can use to help you install them. I have tried on more than one occasion to use them and I always just find them to make a complicated process more complicated. I use them as, I'll show you this one. Looks kind of like this. You clamp it like so, and then you can rest a drawer slide on it. It's great for that. When I start reading those directions with it though, like my brain starts spinning. They use a lot of words I don't know, and it just, it stresses me. I'm gonna record my process for you. I don't know if I'm actually gonna be able to share this video because first go around there was a lot of cursing, so we'll see. First, disclaimer, this is probably not the right way to do any of this. But if it gets done and it's correct, that's all that matters. So don't come at me telling me I'm doing it all wrong, because I know. So I'm starting by clamping this jig right where I've drawn a line for the bottom of my drawer slide. This is going to be probably adjusted because I don't always trust myself, and I'm going to also use a level. So let me show you my thought process. I've got this one behind you extended. I'm gonna put this one, just rest it here. See how it is also extended? Now I have my nice, super long level, and we're gonna set it across the two drawer slides, and they are perfectly level. So as long as nothing shifts, I know I'm good. I'll double check it before anything gets screwed into place. This is not super securely attached. It can still have some wiggle room, which is good. I need my screws. Okay, so I've got my mini level, and I'm gonna put it on here to make sure this is level carefully. Move this and hope it doesn't shift. Now, double check this level. I may regret this, but I'm gonna do some real-time reaction to checking out if everything is level. I'm removing my clamp here. Everything is installed. Here we go. Drawer slide number 1. Level. Drawer slide number 2. Level. Are they level with each other? Okay, here we go. Yes, they're level. Okay. Now I have to install the drawer slides on the drawer itself. This is sucky. This sucks. I need 7 more hands. Okay. Why am I left-handed? Why? The other side. Go to the other side. It's on. Don't know if it's right, but it's on. I'm so nervous, y'all. Okay, I can take this down. I've done all the thinking. Let's see if it worked. I'm so nervous. Okay. Good morning, friends. I'm in the car at the store picking up trim. Corey and I put the second drawer in last night, and I learned a couple things that I wanted to tell you about drawers. Thing number 1 that I learned, leveling was not, I shouldn't have done that. I felt good about getting it level, but Corey pointed out the garage floor itself isn't level, it's slanted. So I was leveling against an unlevel surface, which means my drawer sides were actually crooked. So that's why it was a little tricky to get it in there. It was sitting a little funny. So we fixed it by just measuring off like the top of the actual hearth versus leveling. So good to know. Second thing I learned is that those drawer side jigs are good if you use the right clamps. Corey showed me how to use it. I take back my hatred of them. I still think they're too complicated. But I think if you have jigs or drawer sides to install, you should give them a chance. Two drawers. The base of the hearth is done, y'all. I said I didn't think it was going to be possible, but I think I'm going to finish it today. All that is left to do with this guy is we need to install the back. I need to do some trim, and then I need to do some wood filling, and I need to put the drawer faces on. So 4 things. I got a couple hours while Grant is napping. I think we can make this happen. I'm so excited. So, let's see how much work we can get done. We got 1 thing crossed off our list, 3 to go. So we've got trim, we've got drawer fronts, and then we have wood filler and all the things that make it look pretty and finished. So next I'm gonna do the trim around the top, and the reason I'm doing that before I do the drawer fronts is that I just wanna make sure I have good spacing everywhere, and I don't wanna put the drawer fronts on and then put the trim in and have it interfere in any way. So trim, drawer fronts. For the trim, what we're doing is I've got some 1x2s, the ones that I got at the store this morning, and they're just gonna go all the way around the top to cover up this plywood edge. We're dealing with drawers again. So, learn from my mistakes. We installed these drawer sides a little bit too high. Once I put this trim in, it overhang just ever so slightly, and there was no room to put on a drawer front, and one of the drawers didn't even open. So, I'm going to move my drawer slides down by about an inch. Should give me plenty of room to work. And then we'll try again. Even if this doesn't work, we're not a failure. Everything is okay. Enjoy it. Ho ho ho! Baby, yes! Okay. Opens. Woo! Did it. We did it! Now here's a thing I learned. Let's review what just happened. I decided to move the side pieces, the side slides down. For some reason, I'm not gonna say I thought it would be easier. It did not even cross my mind to just move these. I started with the inside ones. So I did that. Then when I did it, I discovered that I had gone too far, and now the drawer was hitting down here. So I had to also then move the drawer ones. On this side, which also needs to go down, I think I can just move the drawer ones, which is far easier. Maybe 1/2 inch, 3/4 inch, and everything should be fine. Famous last words, right? Before I do the drawer slides, what I want to do next is do some edge banding on all of these raw plywood edges. I've never used this before. This is what it looks like. This is what the package looks like. You apply it with an iron, and what it does is it just covers up these raw edges and makes them look like real wood. It's especially important when you're staining, but I'm painting and you're gonna see the texture of these if I don't cover it up. So let's try it. Hello, happy Saturday. So here's what we're working on. These drawer fronts are hard. I will not mince words here. The design that I chose is complicated and challenging and hard. It's hard. All that being said, I think we're gonna make it work. I'm debating if I need to go through all the complicated reasons why this is happening or not, but what we're doing is putting a little spacer block here, because to cut everything the perfect size to meet up here in the middle was proving extremely challenging. So instead we're gonna put this spacer here. It will stay here, and then the drawers will just meet up with it. And And just like that, look at that beautiful edge banding. So I do not need to worry about these raw edges because there's gonna be a drawer front here. Over here, what we're gonna be doing is reusing our baseboards to create kind of a built-in look. So there's gonna be a baseboard here, so all that'll be covered. And that's all my raw edges, that is it. Woo, we're getting close, y'all. Okay, I've got one attached. I don't know yet if it's gonna work, but it's attached. So what I did, I've got the whole thing on its back. I'm cutting my pieces to size and then I'm laying them on top and using some, I don't know where I said them, I'm using paint stir sticks as spacers to get everything spaced here and here equally. Then, walk with me here, I'm just drilling in from the front, and the reason I'm doing that is because I already know what drawer pulls I'm using. I know they're 12 inches apart, so I marked the holes for where those will go. And I've just created the holes for those already, drilled in from the front. Once I've got them both attached, I can flip this back, take the drawers out, and then attach them from the back. This is all very complicated. I don't know if it needs to be this complicated or if I'm just missing a piece. Normally, if everything is spaced equally, you can just put the drawer front on and make sure it's equal on all the sides. It's not all spaced equally here. It's a little asymmetrical, so that makes it complicated. So, all that to say, I think I've got it figured out. I think. Okay, I got them on. We still have some work to do, but they're on, like temporarily, and I want to see how it looks. I'm worried about the spacing. Let's just see. Okay, it's 12:30. I've been working nonstop for 3.5 or 4 hours. It's done. I mean, it's not done. It's not even done. Drawer fronts are on, they're cut down, they're beautiful. I have edge banding on this drawer. You can see. I need to do edge banding on this drawer. So what is left? Edge banding on this drawer. Sand the whole thing. Wood filler. Install. The hearth is in place. Now it's time to start framing out the wall. I've never done anything like this, but I'm gonna give it a shot. So I have opened up my fireplace, and the directions have this handy little guide that shows me exactly what my opening should look like. So because our ceilings are so tall, basically what we're doing is building an 8-foot tall frame, because that's how long a 2x4 is. 8 foot tall, put it on top of the hearth, then we'll build another one, put it on top of that, and another one, put it on top of that. The last one won't be fully 18 or 8 feet. But anyways, we're gonna have to stack some framed in walls to make this happen. So this here is exactly what I'm going for this first one. Here's how things are going. So I have attached a large rectangle. This is slightly smaller than the base of our hearth. This is where I've begun framing out for the fireplace. So what I did is I put this piece here to represent the opening the fireplace needs. And I put it exactly in the middle so I knew where to space this first stud. I'm using these corner clamps to keep everything nice and square, and now I'm attaching this next stud. Okay, it's framed. So here's what's next. We're going to dry fit the fireplace and just cross our fingers that it actually fits in that space. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna be adding bracing in each of these that will lay flat, because since these studs are this way, there's no easy way to just attach this to the drywall. So what we'll do is lay boards going across like so, all the way across. Then these can be attached to the studs and hold everything in our wall and hold everything. 2 framing, and I'm feeling really good today. So last night, when we moved into this house, listened to our builders and were told we had 20-foot ceilings. As a result, we rented the exterior scaffolding thinking we needed to reach 20 feet. Well, as we were sitting there looking at everything last night, I looked at Corey and I said, I don't think our ceilings are 20 feet tall. And so we busted out the tape measure and he went up to the landing, and our ceilings are just over 18 feet tall, which is a 2-foot difference that makes a world of difference, because suddenly we can use interior scaffolding, and exterior scaffolding is so much more complicated to set up. So last night at like 8 o'clock, Corey took the exterior scaffolding back to Home Depot, swapped it out for interior scaffolding. So that is annoying, and learn from our mistakes and like measure your ceilings. Now that I have the right scaffolding though, we're ready. We've done the first framing, the first set of framing. I'm going to build another 8-foot frame. It should go much faster than the other one because I want to frame it in Fireplace. We will put it on top of that one, and then we'll finish up a little bit at the top. So let's get building. My last little section right at the ceiling is super, super short. It's just under 4 inches. So what I've done is I've got a piece on either side, and then this will get screwed into the studs. The only reason I need this is because I need something to attach my shiplap to. So we'll just do here and here, and that'll be plenty for that very first piece. So what we're working on now is installing our new light fixture. While we have the scaffolding here and set up, we are replacing our old fan with a beautiful light fixture that we got from Crate and Barrel. And it took so much searching and planning and thinking about what the right light was. But we found one, we love it. Corey is having to install it because I can't quite reach the ceiling very comfortably. He's terrified of heights, so it's fun for everyone. So let's install the light fixture.
Close the door. Okay, I closed the door.
How you doing? You okay up there?
Nope, I'm not okay.
You got this. You are safe. Today, my mission is finish shiplapping all down the sides. On either side, we're going to trim out the shiplap. We're going to patch and caulk, and we are going to paint. Like, the goal is, by the time I go to bed tonight, this scaffolding has been taken down and is done. So all of that needs to be finished. So we are going to start by cutting some little bitty pieces of shiplap to go all the way up and down the sides. Okay, so what I've done, I've cut a whole bunch of side pieces. I've sorted them into one side versus the other side just based on what angle the cuts are going, and I'm gonna take all of these up to the top of the scaffolding and start Okay, so you can see what a big difference that corner molding makes. So we've got the corner trim down to here, and this is still just imperfect corners. It makes a huge difference in how clean it looks, and I don't have to stress too terribly much about making all my cuts perfect, so that's lovely. I think we need one more row of shiplap here, but I need to do some measurements for the mantle and all of that before I do it. So I'm gonna go do the other side now. Okay, so we're now on the other side. I am way up high. I've got all my pieces that I cut, and this is the side I'm doing. Just putting it in there and nailing it into place. Just to give you a feel for how high up we are. It's my second story landing. Right there. Okay, so we've got this side done. We've got this side done. Children are fighting. We need to do 2 more rows of shiplap here and then put this corner piece on, but I'm out of shiplap. So I'm gonna go to the store in a minute, but first what I'm gonna do is go ahead and patch and caulk all this top part. Woo! All right, friends, we have finished patching, caulking, all the things. It is ready to be sanded. So I'm gonna sand down all of these little spots where the nail holes have been filled so that they're flush. And then we're gonna paint. And the plan is I'm painting it the same color as my walls so that it all just kind of blends. It'll be a different texture, obviously, but I want it to feel very cohesive. I just feel like I need to commemorate the moment. I have finished painting this very top part, and with this, unless something else happens, I'm done being on the top level of the scaffolding. Now that the shiplap is done, I have to move the fireplace framing down. I made this too tall or too high for a multitude of reasons. As soon as we got that wall up and I was sitting there the other night looking at it, I thought, that's really high. And then we started measuring for the mantle would need to go, and it was gonna put our television super high, and then this was gonna sit too far off the hearth. It just needs to be moved. So thankfully, it's a pretty easy process. I'm gonna take these 2 pieces out and cut them down. Then I'll move this long piece down to sit on top of them, and I'll just install a new cross beam And that one can stay, it won't affect anything. So that's my next step. All right, our next move is to finally paint the hearth. We wanted to wait until we had as much as we could in place because we didn't want it to get scratched up. But it is time to get it. We were able to pull it out for shiplap and all of that, but it's time to get it in place because we've got to do all of the wiring next. Before we cover everything up, we need to get all the wires in and plugged in. So, time to paint. Step one is sanding. So we've got it all patched up. We want to sand all of this patching down so that you can't see it once it's painted. So I've got to do a really thorough job sanding. Then we'll be ready to paint. Now that we have this into place, the next thing I need to do is build out this bottom part a little bit. Learn from my mistakes. Apparently I'm supposed to use 2x6s on this part where the fireplace will go because it's gonna sit out a little far. So not to worry, I'm just gonna put like an additional little frame of 2x4s laying this way because that'll bring it out 1.5 inches. Across the front, we'll do like one here, and a couple on the sides. So it'll just build that up a little bit so the fireplace can sit appropriately. Hey, what you doing?
I'm putting a hole in the wall. Can't go back now.
Oh my. What'd you do?
I drilled the hole too small.
No, really? Could you get the thing and like wiggle it a little bit to kind of wind the hole solid? You know what I mean? You just hold solid and just kind of. Hey, can we not stop shouting? Can we laugh for a second? Stop licking my face. You want me to cover your ears? Okay, I have this down. So for inside the fireplace, it comes with these crystals. It comes with both white and black, and then it comes with a bunch of these wooden logs. And the reviews said for the most realistic look, you should do both the white crystals and the logs. So that's what we're gonna try.
I'm spreading the little ones out in between. Out in between.
That's awesome. This heater.
Yeah, there's 2 levels. What do you think?
Wow.
We've got one single sheet of drywall here in our entry, and we're just gonna cut this down to size, and then we'll have to cut a hole in it for the fireplace so it can sit right on top. Drywall is super easy to cut. We just scored it with a blade at the spot that we needed, and then you bend it, and all that's holding it in place now is this paper that's on the other side. So he's just gonna use the blade to cut through that. Okay.
No whole lot.
So we did 3 rounds of drywall mud over 3 days. It has to dry for 24 hours in between each. So what I'm gonna do, here's the plan today. We're sanding this down and priming it. And then I'm also going to be doing the baseboard here. We have some trim going here. I'm gonna try to get the hearth done. Second coat of paint, all the things. I have drawer pulls coming this week. So let's get to work. Okay, this is the product that I'm using. It's called Roman Clay. The color that I'm going with is Charleston. I have seen a few different people try this. I'm really excited to try it myself. So we're just gonna dive right in and see how it goes. Okay, so the texture on this is somewhere between like a paint and a drywall mud or like wood filler. It looks like a thick paint. You apply it with just one of these little guys. And it actually emphasizes that having like some high spots and ridges and varying thicknesses is like desired. So imperfection is good here, which you know, I love a project where imperfection is the name of the game. So I have watched several different people apply this. It can't be that hard, right? Good morning. I'm just sitting here snuggled up next to the fire. It's been a weird day here. Corey has had a few things come up, had to be out of the house all day. So Grant is currently watching a movie, and this isn't too messy doing the second coat of Roman Clay. So I'm gonna try to do it while Grant is awake because I'm not gonna have time during his nap. So wish me luck on that. First step is sanding it. So just very lightly. It is shockingly smooth. I was expecting it to be much bumpier. It's very smooth, but there's a few like ridges and things here that need to be sanded down just a little bit, very lightly. Then we're gonna try the second coat. So I've got a 300 grit sanding block, and I'm gonna use it to just very, very lightly sand this down. And you're gonna notice some spot, it's gonna make marks, but that'll be covered up by the second coat. Still need to do with the Roman Clay here is I'm going to go ahead and put a piece of trim all along this back part where the drywall meets the existing wall. Corey and I are not pro drywallers, and we weren't like, that seam was never going to look great without trim. So I have just this little quarter round trim. I'm going to take this into the garage and separately put Roman Clay on it. I thought it might be hard on the wall. We're going to put Roman Clay on this, and then I'm just going to install it in here, and hopefully it'll look pretty seamless. We'll see. I'll keep you updated. The other trim thing that we're doing is I'm gonna work today on reinstalling the quarter round, the shoe molding here. We pulled it up all from here all the way down this wall to there. So I'm gonna have to reinstall all of that, and then I'm also gonna be installing it around the base so that, again, it all looks built in. So I have the stuff we pulled up plus some extra, so we're gonna use that. Hello friends, good afternoon. Over the next 2 days, my goal is to finish this fireplace so that Monday I can do a big reveal for you. So what's left? The big thing that's left is building the mantle. I got the wood for it this morning, so that's what we're gonna work on today. I have a little bit of trim work to do, just a couple little polishing things here and there, but overall the mantle's all that's left. So let me show you the plan. The thing that's unique with the mantle here is that it's gonna sit right here between the Roman clay and the shiplap, but I wanna cover up this seam, so we're going to kind of make it appear as if it wraps. So the side pieces will go all the way back here, and then the mantle will stick out. Kind of hard to explain, but basically the side pieces will be longer than the front pieces, and this will be covered up. Here's kind of a visual of what I was just talking about. So this will cover up that seam, and then the rest of the mantle will be over here, but these sides will just extend a little. So next I'm gonna run just a line of caulk all down here. I did one earlier, but as you can see when I wrap this up, it just isn't a perfect line. So I just wanna do a line of caulk just to make this look as perfect as it can. Tape didn't work. Because the stuff is so textured, all the caulk went right under the tape. So what I did is I just freehanded the caulk, and some of it got on the Roman clay, and that's fine. I'm just gonna touch it up with a tiny paintbrush before I seal. This is always the part of any project where things just start to feel tedious. It is the final little trimming, caulking, the touch-ups. It is one of the most important parts because it's what makes everything look so polished, but also it takes forever and it feels so tedious. So I just want to acknowledge that I'm in like the trenches with the last like 5% here, and it's annoying, but necessary. Corey is still working on the mantle. It's a little tricky because of like the wrapping situation, and then also we have children awake and not in school right now, so only one person can work at a time. I'm just out here spending some quality time with my favorite wood filler, getting this finished. Corey and I just held it into place and it looks incredible. Incredible. I can't wait to show you.